And remember, you combine with what you notice, so do not describe anything destructive, for you begin to combine with it, and thus you will perpetuate it in your world. If you want something else instead, then bring it through with your spoken or silent word, and with what you choose to see in your inner eye. And remember, if you hate or resent a situation, you have fastened it to you, for you attract what you fear or dislike. If you find disgust in something, you will perpetuate a cycle where things will continue to come into your life and disgust you. Florence says the best way to deal with this is to neutralize it. Be absolutely undisturbed by it and send goodwill to all concerned. My goodwill is a strong tower round about me. I now transmute all inharmony into harmony, all injustice into justice. And Florence assures you you'll be in for a real treat. You will be amazed at the working of the law. And also don't look back over bad times of the past, for you will start to draw these conditions back to you. Instead, give thanks for the dawn of a new day, and learn to be immune to all discouragement and adverse appearances. Does food matter in the end? Neville Goddard, on talking about his teacher Abdullah. And I learned so many things from the old fella. I came back because I wasn't drinking. I brought him 2 lovely old bottles of brandy, the best that we have on the island, 2 lovely bottles and some rum. So I gave him my father's rum, gave him the brandy. A week later he said to me, "Say, how long do you expect those things to last?" I learned my lesson. I thought he would sip those things for a year. Oh no, they were gone. And he wondered how long I supposed these things to last for him. And of course he really disillusioned me terribly on so many things, because I would go and dine with him. And Abdullah, I was then a strict vegetarian. I was trying to overcome it after I came back. Gradually, and of course, he would sit down, and he would have 2 or 3 big shots of rye. I mean big shots of rye. And then he would wash down his meal with a lot of porter. Or, it wasn't beer, it was ale. And then he would, at the end, like Churchill, a huge big bowl of ice cream. I said, "Ab, how can you do that?" "Oh," he said, "you couldn't do it. It would poison you, because you have quibbles. But you know that God made everything. Everything is God. You would assume that. You would assume he made something and not the rest? No, God made everything." So he said, "You have quibbles, Neville. With any of your quibbles, it'd poison you." But he would sit down and polish off this enormous meal and wash it down with ale, proceeded with 3 shots of rye. And here was a man truly of the spirit. But if I judge from appearances, I would say, well, he can't be a holy man, for which today I am most grateful that he wasn't, because he taught me real Christianity, and he was born in North Africa of Jewish parents and raised in a strict Orthodox Jewish home. But he knew more Christianity than anyone I've ever met, because he spoke the Hebrew tongue perfectly. He spoke other tongues, and rabbis would come to study with him. And he and I would discuss day in and day out for over 5 years, teaching me all that he could teach me that I could absorb concerning the Kabbalah, the great mystery of how this thing is put together in these simple little letters of Hebrew. So if you have quibbles of the mind, aka limitations, limiting beliefs, feelings, judgments, by all means, do what makes you feel best. But if you keep propagating those limitations, how will you ever break them? What if you're more powerful? Abdullah could eat and drink anything, and live to an old age while looking youthful and being healthy. And these days it may seem other men or women like Abdullah are rare. But if you are a student of Neville Goddard or any similar mystic, and you find yourself passing judgment of what is right or wrong, then you are asleep in the dream of life. By all means, do what feels best for you, but eventually you will have to give up all of these quibbles, limitations, to know that you are not just a limited, weak body and limited mind, but you are the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of all. You are beyond body and mind, beyond time and space. If you find yourself in the midst of quibbles, limitations, you don't have to force yourself to give it up. You don't have to do something that doesn't make you comfortable, but try for a moment to think, how would it feel to be beyond all quibbles, to realize how great and vast and eternal you are. You come to a point where you start to know enough now, where you can start to open to the idea to move past the limitations of the body and the mind, and you can start simply by being aware of your thoughts. Sometimes you may not notice them, and others may point them out to you. And when you catch yourself, simply just take a moment, even 2 seconds, to contemplate what would it be like to not have any quibbles. What would it be like to truly realize by personal experience that everything comes from God, the imagination of consciousness, whether intentional or unintentional? And how would it feel knowing this, that you can transcend all limitations? How would it feel to transcend all limitations, that nothing can touch you, that you're beyond birth, beyond death, beyond time, beyond space, beyond words? How does that feel? That feeling, remember it, until you dwell in your true home, your true great, vast, eternal, profound consciousness beyond words. And as you do this, you will start to blossom. You cannot but help it, because it is your destiny. You are the seed of God, and your harvest is your own personal heaven. Don't beat yourself up for having quibbles, but do become aware, and then take a couple seconds to tune in, to be free, moving beyond the right and wrong of Caesar's world, and moving into God mode, thinking not of an outside God, but thinking as God, and seeing all that you call the world, reality, as a creation of God, the imagination of such a vast, eternal, profound consciousness that we all one day will consciously wake up to in complete harmony and wonder. In a similar way, when you go to bed at night and you have a night dream, and one day you too will also wake from the wake dream, what you call reality, Caesar's world. And now let us go into the silence, beyond all quibbles, beyond all limitations. In imagination, may we feel what it is to be completely free, to be the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of all. And as we do this, we bring this state alive, letting the old state dissolve, persist and hit the bullseye, the main aim in the dream of life, Caesar's world, your reality, your destiny, for it is all already done.